Emotional intelligence, an edge for leaders. The learning objectives for this course are a definition of emotional intelligence, the components of emotional intelligence, why we should focus on emotional intelligence, how to become emotionally intelligent, and how to use emotional intelligence to become a leader. Let's start with a definition. What is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence is the process to conquer challenges and solve disputes by understanding and managing our emotions positively and using it for effective communication, empathizing, and stress reduction. Emotional intelligence helps us in achieving personal and career goals by creating strong relationships in our work and our private lives. It helps us in making the most important decisions by connecting with our feelings and converting our intentions into actions. These are a few of the components of emotional intelligence, the most prime factors: self-awareness, empathy, motivation, self-regulation, and social skills. And we'll talk about each of these in more detail. Let's start with self-awareness. This is the ability to identify and understand personal feelings and moods, as well as the impact they have on ourselves and others. Self-awareness highlights how we monitor our emotional states and the quality of identifying and naming them when felt. One should focus on self-awareness if one wants to enhance self-confidence, practice realistic self-assessment, and master the ability to take oneself less seriously. Self-regulation is another key component of emotional intelligence, and this refers to the quality to control and direct troublesome emotions, feelings, and moods. It refers to the ability to delay actions and eliminate judgments in order to get adequate time for decision-making. For example, if we're dealing with a customer who shows his rapid-fire mode by constantly replying to your statements, it clearly shows that the person is not giving conscious thoughts to what they have been told. In these situations, if the one dealing with the customer inherits this same quality, he or she will be able to handle the situation maturely. People with this ability, the ability of self-regulation, exhibit comfort, trustworthiness, and openness to change. Motivation is another important component of emotional intelligence. And motivation comes from the desire to work for what you want and what is important. It involves the curiosity and vision to achieve your goal that doesn't involve selfish rewards like money and status. Every leader has a strong will to achieve his or her goals and holds an optimistic attitude even in adverse conditions, even through failures, and even through organizational disputes. The person who remains motivated even at hard times becomes a source of inspiration for his fellow employees, and eventually, he or she becomes a great leader. Empathy is another key component of emotional intelligence. Empathy can be considered as the ability to understand the emotional stability of a person and treat others in response to their emotional reactions. Empathy focuses on creating bonds and relationships with people who are a part of our daily lives. It can be used in both good and bad ways, as it doesn't always include sympathy. In comparison to a service profession, empathy can be less effective if a situation occurs in a competitive and isolated organization. Social skills are yet another key component of emotional intelligence. And social skills refers to the art of building connections, managing relationships and networks, finding common grounds of agreement, and creating rapport. Social skills play a major role in getting the best performance from your teams by building expertise in relationships through socializing and communicating. To become an effective leader, one needs to master this art. Only then will the team fully trust in his or her credibility and leadership skills. So, why focus on emotional intelligence? Why is it important? Well, to become a great leader, we need to be skilled enough to lead, guide, and motivate employees who come from different backgrounds with different opinions and personalities. This requires a higher degree of emotional intelligence. A high emotional quotient is needed for decision-making as well as stress management. A leader needs to know his or her own emotional state, as well as the emotions of others, and how to properly utilize that information to make accurate and non-impulsive decisions. We find that leaders with a high EQ can effectively deal with tense situations and solve them with a clear and calm mind. So, how do you become emotionally intelligent? Well, leaders can boost their emotional intelligence by taking the time to learn about people and becoming more self-aware of their own emotions. If you practice becoming more mindful of your feelings and your reactions to others, you'll become more empathetic. And it's true, some people are going to be naturally gifted with a higher EQ than others, just like anything else, but it is possible to improve your EQ with patience and dedication. Taking time to get to know people around your employees and consciously seeking to empathize can go a long way toward having an effectively higher EQ, Lupton said. He also added that if you look at someone else and see yourself reflected back in them, you can begin to treat them in a more compassionate manner. So, how can you use emotional intelligence to become a great leader? In an organization, there are times when a leader wants to correct the performance of his or her team member, and the member may become aggressive or behave in an inappropriate way. In these situations, the leader should use his or her emotional intelligence to avoid any anger or irritation and make sure that the employee understands whatever is asked. The ability to deliver bad news without causing a scene is an art that emotional quotient goes to the heart of. Another recurring theme is a team member who is a great performer, like an outstanding salesperson, but who consistently leaves other people in the organization feeling diminished or insulted. These toxic team members can call upon enough EQ to close a deal, but are insensitive to the damage they leave around them. An effective leader is one who is good at working with such people and getting other people to work with them. And this tends to get more work done. Such leaders have good reputations since people like working with them. Emotional intelligence, combined with a smart case, equips you with the tools to recognize the perfect moment to ask, how to ask appropriately for your audience, and how to deal with any answer that you receive. Now let's take a quiz to test your knowledge. Emotional intelligence can be studied through A, an integrative model approach, B, a mixed model approach, C, an abilities-focused approach, or D, all of the above. The answer is D, all of the above. Which of the following makes EI measurement challenging? Whether conscious, effortful processing or spontaneous processing of emotional materials should be measured, whether the scenarios presented should be authentic or hypothetical, both A and B, or none of the above. The answer, of course, is both A and B. Having high emotional intelligence may not always be adaptive. Why is this? A, they will have a high opinion of themselves. B, others will likely ignore them. C, these people are more sensitive to mood manipulation. Or D, all of the above? The answer is C. These people are more sensitive to mood manipulation. Emotional intelligence is different from other intelligences because A, it is a set of skills. B, the focus is on emotional reasoning, ability, and knowledge. C, it is a new type of intelligence. Or D, it can be measured using tests easily. Answer is B. The focus is on emotional reasoning, ability, and knowledge. The higher the trait EI, A, the lower the likelihood of personality disorder. B, the higher the likelihood of personality disorder. C, the higher the likelihood of self-harm. Or D, the higher the likelihood of harm to others. The answer is A. The higher emotional intelligence, the lower the likelihood of personality disorder. Lower emotional intelligence, on the other hand, is likely linked to more aggressive behavior because why? A, others' emotions and behaviors are misinterpreted as hostile, and an aggressive response is therefore exhibited. B, taking action is more important than expressing emotions. C, that is the only way the person knows how to express their displeasure. Or D, people with lower EI often think of themselves as victims. The answer is A. Others' emotions and behaviors are misinterpreted as hostile, and an aggressive response is therefore exhibited. Emotional intelligence refers to qualities such as understanding your own feelings, empathy for others, and what? A, having a good sense of humor. B, understanding human relations research. C, possessing above average verbal and math skills. Or D, the ability to manage emotions. The answer is D, the ability to manage emotions. One of the key factors of emotional intelligence is A, social awareness. B, self-awareness. C, self-management. Or D, all of the above. The answer, of course, is all of the above. Social awareness, self-awareness, and self-management are all key factors of emotional intelligence. A worker with a positive attitude and good performance is likely to achieve all of the following except which? A, jealousy from coworkers. B, favorable work assignments. C, being liked by customers. Or D, closing more sales. The answer is A, jealousy from coworkers. Emotional intelligence is linked to romantic relationship satisfaction because EI may be linked to A, having a better understanding of the partner's emotions. B, giving the person higher self-esteem. C, agreeing with the partner all of the time. Or D, getting what one wants out of the relationship. The answer, of course, is A, having a better understanding of the partner's emotions. So emotional intelligence can help you both at work and at home. Thank you.